Hi, welcome to the second video in for Rhino 3D Basics for the version 8 of the software. This is going to concentrate on the object snaps, and these are the helpers which allow you to kind of accurately draw from positions on objects to other positions. So we'll start off by using the polygon one, and then we will delete the three polygons, and we will look at the other object snaps, just basically drawing around the objects and shapes that we already have. Okay, so we will start in our file. So we're going to dispense with grid snap. Okay, we've encountered ortho already by holding shift. Planar is useful when you're tracing objects, and especially going from one view to another. It keeps the work plane consistent. So it's not one that gets used very often, but it's pretty clever. Okay, so we're on to O snap. Okay, now at the moment I haven't got any of the object snaps activated, so we're going to start with center and quad. Okay, so the center, the only objects here that will have centers are the circle, the ellipse, the control point curve will have centers as well, and the arc. But we'll just concentrate on the circle. And quads, these are the quadrant positions of a circle. So 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock. Okay, so we'll draw using the red layer just now. And we'll start with a polygon. So we haven't used this yet, so a polygon here. Okay, and before I draw, I want to set the number of sides for the object. So instead of 5, I want to change this and go for 6 sides. Press enter, and you can see here at the moment it's inscribed. Okay, so that is going to create the polygon inside of a circular shape. Okay, you don't usually see the circle, but we happen to have one already, so it's kind of helpful. So we go to the it's not perimeter. I've forgotten the circumference of the circle to find its center. So click at that position. Okay, so you can see the polygon pulling out, and then we're looking to use a quadrant point, and you see that the shape is inside the circle. Okay, the more sides the polygon has, the closer to the circle it's going to get. So if you're doing a triangle, you find there's, it is considerably smaller than the circle. Okay, try that again. So if you want to use the same command again, you just press enter. Okay, we'll stick with the same number of sides, but we'll change the mode to circumscribed. Okay, so again, we'll use the same center, and so that you can compare, we'll use the same quadrant point. Okay, so it's a fair bit bigger, the second shape. Okay, one last one, just for fun. Let's go for a star. So I'll start at the center. Okay, I'm just going to pick a random point and then pull in, and we get a star. How pretty. Okay, now they're on the red layer at the moment, so we'll draw the next lines on the purple colored layer, layer 2, so make that current. And now that this is the current layer, we can turn off the red layer, so we can switch that off. Okay, so we're going to change the object snaps now. Okay, and we'll go for end and midpoint. So end and midpoint. Okay, we'll use lines now, so individual line segments. So right click this, so we've got an endpoint here and an endpoint here. Enter to stop the command and enter to renew the command. Okay, it's finding a midpoint for us, and we'll take it to the endpoint here. Okay, so endpoint and midpoint are probably the two that you use the most. Okay, let's look at one that's very useful, but it will find an infinite number of positions, so it's nearest. Okay, so we want a line. Let's go nearest on that circumference to nearest over here. Enter twice. Okay, nearest to nearest. Enter and stop. Okay, so it's very useful for picking points on objects that don't have kind of obvious geometric positions. Okay, let's add perpendicular to that. Okay, just press enter because we haven't done anything since we used line. So let's go from nearest, and you can go to a perpendicular point, but you can't start at a perpendicular point. So we'll go perpendicular, enter again, go from nearest here, so go near, 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 perp, near, 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 perp. Okay, do the same on the ellipse. Okay, nearest to perpendicular. Okay, we can do one on the arc here. We could go from the nearest point here and finding a perpendicular position on the control point curve. Okay, let's swap the perpendicular for tangent. One that doesn't get used a heck of a lot, but it's extremely useful when you need it. Okay, enter again to use line, and let's go from a random position on the line here to a tangent position on the circle. Enter twice. Try the same over this side, looking for the tangent position. And these, with Rhino, these are extremely accurate. You could use these to trim the circle, so you could cut away that piece or cut away that piece. Okay, similarly here, we can take it from a nearest point to the tangent. And again, if we go nearer here, it'll be further down, there's a tangent. And one that looks more improbable, if we go nearest here, and we're looking for the tangent against the curve. Really pretty clever. Okay, one that you do use a lot is intersection. So just have this one on its own. Enter to use line again. We've got an intersection here. We've got an intersection there. Got one there. We've got one here. Enter twice. Okay, intersection here, intersection here, and let's do the last one. Let's go intersection to intersection to intersection. Okay, right, one that we haven't used is not, vertex and project. Okay, project is fairly similar to planar in a way. Okay, so it's not really an object snap in its own way. It kind of, you're using a different object snap and projecting at the same time. Okay, vertex, these only appear on a mesh object. We don't have any of those in here just yet, so we can't use that one. Okay, now knots are found on all geometry, but they're most kind of prevalent on things like control point curves. Now this is in, as control point curves go, this is a pretty simple one. So there's only knots at the ends. Okay, so I'd like you to jump back to your default layer. Okay, and do a control point curve that is like a spiral. So we just come over here and just keep clicking, but work your way inwards. So we're making our own kind of freehand spiral. Okay, enter when you get fairly close to the center. And now see if you can find knots along there. So instead of a single line, we'll use a polyline. So this is where the line segments are connected to each other. So if you left click this one this time, so we've got knots at the end, and then if we move along, it should find a knot. Okay. Oh, sorry, I forgot to change layer. So back on the purple one. Okay, polyline, endpoint, and so knots on a curve like this are where generally where the equation changes for the description of the curve. So found a knot there. So where we've got kind of a change in the curvature of the shape. So you can kind of sometimes kind of predict where the knots are going to be. You're looking when you get used to kind of drawing shapes. Okay, there's lots of them on this. They don't really correspond to the control points. Okay, but they're related. Okay, I don't think there was one on the way there. That's it. So press enter. We can't put any more in. And if you see the control points, these are kind of above the knots, but not always. We haven't got. There's usually always an extra one in that last. We call this a span. There's always usually an extra control point in that span that determines the tangent direction, and then it's all about curvature after that. Okay, right, brilliant. That's the second exercise complete. Well done.